Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, you know? Just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me. Absolutely happened to me. I had, for years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hi, I'm Ashley Flowers, and if you're like me and grew up watching America's Most Wanted and reading Nancy Drew, then hi, you're a crime junkie. And I bet that passion for solving mysteries never went away, which is why we've assembled a team of reporters to dig deep into all the cases we still obsess over. Each Monday, my best friend Britt and I will bring you a case that you won't be able to stop thinking and talking about. So join us by listening to Crime Junkie wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder Express.
Yay! And choo-choo!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. All aboard the murder train, pulling away from the station. We have a crazy show this week, as usual. Very quickly at the top here, you definitely want to head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. November the 28th, I've been told. Tickets go on sale for the entire 2023 tour. We're very excited. We're going to peel these dates off as fast as possible right now. February the 20th in Cleveland, February the 10th in Cleveland. I'm sorry. Would help if I got it right. I could do it faster. February the 11th in St. Louis, March 23rd and 24th in Seattle, March 25th, 2 shows in Portland, Oregon, May 5th in Detroit, May 6th in Pittsburgh, July 15th in San Diego, July 28th in Salt Lake City, July 29th in Denver, August 11th in Minneapolis, August 12th in Chicago. That's a huge venue. Get those tickets. September 8th in Atlanta, September 9th in Charlotte, October the 6th in Philadelphia, October the 7th in Washington, D.C. Also, dates coming for New York, Boston, Milwaukee, and Phoenix. So they're coming. Get your tickets the 28th. Start making plans.
Yeah.
They make great holiday gifts.
They
Tickets.
do.
I'll tell you what right there. Also, head over to, you're going to find all that, by the way, shutupandgivememurder.com. Follow us on social media at Smalltown Murder on Instagram, at Smalltown Pod on Facebook, at Murder Small on Twitter. Also, patreon.com/crime in sports. Yes. That's where you get all the bonus stuff. Anybody $5 a month or above, you're going to get access to everything. The whole back catalog of bonus stuff. It's like 150 episodes. Every other week, you're going to get 2 brand new episodes. 1 crime and sports, 1 small town murder. This week, very quickly, crime and sports. Trust us, it's weird old medical ads from newspapers. You definitely want to check it out. Nothing to do with sports. Then for small town murder, love after lockup, baby.
Yes!
It's finally over the season, and we're going to talk about it. There is so much to talk about. We cannot wait for that.
Yeah.
All of that and more. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And you will get a shout out, of course, at the end of the regular show. So that said, I think it's time, Jimmie. Let's sit back, clear the lungs. I don't even care where you are. Public, not public, whatever. Let people wonder. Sit back and shout. Shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, Jimmie, shall we?
Okay.
Let's go on a trip. All right.
Let's
We're
do it.
going down to Maryland this week.
Oh.
Back to Maryland. This is Leonardtown. One singular Leonard. Not
One
Leonard's.
Leonard. That's all there's allowed here.
Just one guy named Leonard, and it's his town. Leonardtown, Maryland. It's in the southern Maryland panhandle.
Oh.
It comes kind of down, kind of dangles down there like the turkey neck.
Yeah.
This is the southern Maryland panhandle. It's about
Maryland gobbler.
It's exactly what it is. The Maryland flaccid dangler. That's what they call it, I believe, down there. Just, it's a localism. It's about an hour 40 to Baltimore, so nowhere near kind of that area. About an hour 15 to Washington, D.C., and about 2 hours all the way on the other side of the state to Westminster, Maryland, which was episode 288, which was the sex-crazed killer accountant, which was a wild episode. If you
live in this town, it's very accessible to get to our show in D.C.
You can actually get there in about, an hour and 15 minutes, I think. An hour. You can get right there and come see us there. So population here, it's 3,912, so 3,912. Median household income is above the national average at $61,000.
Yeah.
And median home price, though, a little pricey here.
Really?
$426,000 is the median home price.
How do you do it?
Wow, that's rough. I don't understand on 61 grand. That seems
God.
This seems like a disparity there, right? I don't know how that works.
Poor, yeah. Is that what it's called?
I guess so, yeah. House, I guess you'd be poor because of your house at that point.
Right, I think that's
house
what
poor.
I think that's
Which
how
is
it goes.
such a weird statement because it sounds like your house is poor at that point. Like, I'm house poor. Like, oh, yeah, that thing's falling apart. Look at it.
Sounds to me like your house rich.
Yeah, your roof's falling in. Shit, that's not good. Your house poor, man.
Like all hat, no cattle. This is all house, no money.
All house, no wallet is what this is. So, history, quickly. During the War of 1812, the British blockaded Chesapeake Bay, which is outside of here. 1,000 British Marines invaded the town and just wiped it clean, basically. Wow. Messed it all up and plundered it and all that sort of thing. This area was subject to repeated British plundering and destruction, according to this historical article I found here. So by 1860, though, the town had about 35 dwellings, houses around there, and it was home to a newspaper, had a couple of hotels, so it was kind of coming into its own here. There's also a Mennonite farming community a few miles to the northwest of here, where they produce furniture and crafts and shit like that. And
Mennonites.
Yeah, and Mennonites. These Mennonites and Amish make damn fine furniture.
Yeah.
That's solid stuff. Solid. So reviews of this town, they're wild, and we got to get to these here. Reviews, oh, God, my God. 5 stars. Perfect. Perfect.
The best.
The best. Leonardtown is a very safe community and very different from Great Mills not far down the road. Those fucking dirtbags and Great Mills.
This is a great community. That one's not.
Right away. We're better than them. I don't know. It was at least that. While there are not kids out at all hours of the day or night wandering around, it still feels safe when you go walking, even at night. What? That makes no sense. There's not kids, so even though they're saying that you feel safer when there's kids around, which is a weird statement.
Bouncing around at 10 p.m., that means they feel safe?
To me, that sounds like that's a bad neighborhood because that's parents who aren't watching their kids.
Your parents, yeah.
Right? The police are very visible in the area, and you better not speed out on the main road and will patrol neighborhoods during the day. While no area can be completely safe, Leonardtown has to be the safest place I've ever lived. Anything else you want to talk about here besides that? In terms of not feeling that when you get out of your car in front of your house at night and you don't feel the need to run inside as quickly as you can. Okay, this person's just very paranoid.
Fascinating.
Great Mill must be just a
real
cauldron of just fucking craziness going on there. 4 stars. The next one. The houses range from the traditional 2-story family home to townhouses. All the houses are lived in and well cared for. The people out on the weekends taking care of their lawns. Other neighborhoods that are finished have a thriving community with lots of children who sometimes run amok, but generally keep out of trouble. Going into the local woods means you might meet hunters or druggies. Okay, that's any local woods, really. But
those are the 2 people out there.
But most stay away from the deep woods as it is unadvised to go there.
What's there?
What's in the deep woods?
Tell
Holy
me more,
shit.
Mufasa.
I need to know. I think this is the Blair Witch area, so maybe that's what we're talking about here. Maybe the Blair Witch is there, I think,
Find
is the problem.
shit hanging from trees and little dolls made out of sticks.
Holy shit. 2 stars. There is nothing fun to do in Leonardtown, Maryland. There are a few grocery stores. Well, that's not really a party. But if you want to do hard shopping, you need to go out of town. Hard shopping. Do some hard shopping today, kids. Get out there.
That's a fascinating term.
Wow. Hard shopping. That is wild. Someone stole our Hillary Clinton road sign. Okay. So apparently there are political sign thievings going on here as well. This person...
To include that in a review of the town.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I don't know why that's... That had to be one person. I don't think the town got together to take your sign. So... And it's so funny.
And I'm really upset about my fucking sign.
That's why these reviews are amazing, because it's so personal to what happened to you. Because we'll have people being like, somebody scratched my car in the supermarket parking lot. And you're like, that's not a review for the town. It's something that happened to you. That was one thing that could have happened anywhere. So,
shit.
Okay, here's 1 star. No good. Nothing to do, especially for teenagers. Limited shopping, 0 malls nearby.
Okay.
I mean, Jesus. Limited job growth and opportunities unless you're county, like work for the county. Mm-hmm. We pay Leonardtown taxes and have to go to Chopticon High. School zoning makes no sense. Absolutely no good restaurants. Overpriced and terrible food. You're a kid. Eat McDonald's. Shut the fuck up.
Do what your mom says.
I didn't go to a decent restaurant till I was 30 and could pay for it to myself. Jesus Christ. Little diversity. It's not even affordable. This is coming from an NYC transplant. Good place to go get buried, not even to go die because the hospitals suck too. Well, that's a great place to die if the hospitals suck. That's where you want to go. Lots of smokers. Okay. No health food stores nearby. I'm starting to hate this kid right now.
Truly. Yeah.
I do not recommend it. It is safe. It is safe since not even the criminals want to live here. They have more sense than that. So they tried, but okay. Very quickly, things to do.
Yeah.
U.S. Oyster Fest is here.
Hey.
That sounds delicious. Oh, I can't wait. It's a 2-day fun oyster festival taking place at the St. Mary's County Fairgrounds. That sounds so good. You get tickets. They have the main event here is the U.S. National Oyster Shucking Championship Contest.
That I would never want to do.
I would be so... I'd still be working on the second one.
Yeah.
Like this fucking thing, I'd have 8 stab wounds in my hand.
Yeah, they're wearing
everywhere.
They're wearing like metal mesh gloves doing that shit.
They're wearing gloves like knights used to wear when they jousted, like metal chain mesh. Nothing can get through it. Jousting gloves.
Just chopping away at these fucking shells.
Man, $1,800 grand prize for winning that, which seems like it was negotiated. That's not a round number. It's real weird.
About what it costs for a new hand.
I guess that'll pay for your stitches that night at the hospital and a tetanus shot. So wonderful. That said, everybody, let's talk about a murder, shall we?
Let's do it.
Because it's a wild murder that took place here, and not too long ago either. 2000. We don't have to go back too far. Now, this is a crazy ass story, though. This is one of these stories. I love the stories that are like a shell game where you think it's all this one thing, and you go, oh, that was all a mirage that like disappeared before my eyes, and it's actually, it's like Stranger Things or something like that. Oh, that's gone, and now I'm actually not there. That was all a dream. And this thing that I thought was my mother is actually a monster. All right. So we have to go back to the year 2000. Let's talk about an individual here, a man. Michael K. Blankenship is his name.
Yeah.
Michael K. Blankenship. He's 49 years old. And little on his background, he is from Rock, West Virginia, originally. Okay. That's where he's born and grew up. The postmaster of Rock said it was a great place to grow up, quote unquote, which I love that. Also called the town just a wide spot in the road. That's what they call it locally.
That sounds gross.
Yeah, it's just one of these small West Virginia towns. I should write the name of the town down and look for a murder there because I'm sure there was plenty. So it's the postmaster said like no one comes into the post office even. It's just
really
it's dead there all the time.
And less now.
No, I'm sure now. Yeah, Christ, 20-something years later, it can't be any better. Right. So anyway, Blankenship, born and raised there, nice 2-story, White House and all that. It was fine, overlooking farms. His father managed a company store for a mining camp. Oh. So that was back then. They'd pay you in company script, and you'd have to buy shit from the store, and he was a manager of that. And his mother was a school teacher at the local high school.
Very, very central. Just everything local. They do everything here, and we don't need to leave. Yeah.
Very much like that, absolutely. Everybody said the Blankenship, they had a couple of brothers he had too. Everybody said the Blankenship boys were remembered as always as nice, polite, and from a good family. That's the local thing. Oh, Blankenships, that's a good family there.
Damn good family.
Those are fine boys they raised. Yeah. That's one of those, yeah. They sound very salt of the earth here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, very blue collar. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Couldn't be more blue collar. So by 1989... we'll talk about. So this is, he's a little older here. He's, what is he, 39 now?
39.
Almost 40. He arrives in Maryland here and takes a job at the Hunt Funeral Home in Waldorf, Maryland. That's when he got there. He's got a big, his resume is all military. Yeah. He's got tons of service awards. He's got all this shit, which, is pretty impressive to any employer that you're going in. I'd like a job here. Oh, yeah, I was in the Army. I'm very decorated. I was a career officer, all this type of shit. Not bad. A former coworker that worked with him there said, quote, he was very helpful and nice. That's why I believed everything he said. Like he told me he had a sister, but he didn't have a sister.
Why would he do that?
Okay. This is deep. This is deep, man.
He just lied all the time?
This story is like a deep root, like a tooth. Like it's just, you're like, wow, it goes that far? So it touches bone. So in 1993, Michael moved into a townhouse in St. Mary's County that was $100,000, which in 1993 is... it's a good
place.
It's not bad. It's a nice townhouse, probably. And a quick drive from his new job at the Brinsfield Funeral Home, where he's a mortician.
Holy shit.
Yes. So he tells, now all of his friends know him as Michael Blankenship. He's a mortician. He was in the Army for a long time. He was a major for years. And then he ended up as a colonel in the Army Reserve. Okay. After that, he was in the reserve and was a colonel there. He's got his military ID and everything like that. He's has a membership at the Patazent. I don't know how the fuck you say that. Patuxent.
Nope.
Patazent. I have no idea. River Naval Air Station Officers Club. So he's a membership.
Native word, right?
I have no fucking idea. It's got an, I guess. We don't use X's a lot. General Patuxent, maybe? I don't know. Patuxent? Like, maybe. That would be something in Massachusetts would be like Patuxent. Maybe it's Patuxent. Patuxent River Naval Air Station. There's go.
Punxsutawney, and there's an X in that, right?
Guess what, everybody? That's what it's called now. So if you drive by it, go, hey, it's the Patuxent fucking River Naval Air Station. Beautiful. So he would frequently go there. He'd bring visitors and friends with him to the Naval Officers Club because apparently it's very nice to go there. At Cedar Point, the big fancy dinners, and the club overlooks the Chesapeake Bay. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is.
Absolutely. A friend of his named Mervyn Hampton said, quote, he was a marvelous host. Michael could spin a good yarn. He had lots of good stories to tell about politics and government and his relationship with the White House people.
Yeah, but he's lying.
Well, we don't know. It's about his sister. He told this friend that he went to school with Hillary Clinton. Oh. And he was friends with the Clintons who were in the White House at the time. And he says that he's been, doing all this type of thing. He's about to become president of the Rotary Club as well.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he made a rodeo to raise funds for service groups, so that was very popular. He'd go to a church at his Episcopal services. He was an usher at the church for all the services, so he's got a really active life, for Christ's sake.
He's doing it, yeah.
He's working. He's going to all these clubs. He's doing a lot of charity stuff. He's at church all the time. He's
rubbing elbows with fucking politicians. Jesus.
I'm exhausted. Yeah. Like, this guy's life is tiring.
So boy needs a nap.
All this while working a full-time job seems like a lot.
Stunning, yeah.
So, yeah, he during the late 90s, though, he ends up, as we'll talk about, he ends up getting a promotion in the military in the Army Reserve here. Now, he also says that he calls himself just a special friend of the White House. He just people up in higher groups of it's not a political thing. He's in the Army. You know what I mean? So he because of that, because he's a high-ranking officer, he's made a lot of friends in high circles of politics.
There are
basically.
oftentimes that a news article will be written about a politician and they'll talk about their very good friend. And I'm just like, who the fuck is that? I have no fucking idea who that is.
No idea. He gave a presentation to the Rotary Club all about Air Force One. If you're not from U.S., that's the plane the president flies on. It's a pretty sweet plane. Yeah. It's a pretty sweet plane. And he had slides and all this type of shit. And he's given like a tour of it, basically, and telling everybody about it. So everybody's like, fuck, this guy's been on Air Force One. That's pretty badass. He also said that he was a voluntary advisor to the White House speechwriting office on military affairs. Awesome. So if any time a speech had to be made about anything military or on a military, like a holiday, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, that sort of thing, his
help. Words come out of their mouth.
He would help with the speech writing to make sure it's in the tone of of the tone it should be, the correct tone that a civilian might not know to take. You know what I mean? So his friend said that the speech, that his stuff always seemed to be connected to the State of the Union. He was just, quote, going uptown to look at, review, and add to polish up whatever. So he was saying, I got to go up there and go polish up the State of the Union speech,
I got my thumb on the pulse.
You know how it goes. We're talking about Kosovo. It's a big deal. I got to get there. So he's also a certified mortician, like we said, works at the Brimsfield Funeral Home, mostly doing paperwork and attending to the grieving families, but also would prep bodies for burial as well. Yeah. This is the funeral home's owner, quote, he was very good with families. I knew him as a licensed mortician who did his job well, worked basically 9 to 5, and I know he was active in the community, but what he did when he wasn't working, I don't know.
Well, questionable. Yeah,
we'll find out. And also, according to all of his friends, his wife, before he moved here, right before the thing that made him move here, the catalyst was his wife dying of cancer.
Fuck.
At like age 36 or something.
Oh, no.
That's what made him pack up and move to Maryland and just get out of West Virginia and clean start. And that's understandable. That's totally understandable. Absolutely. Here he would. All sorts of stuff he would do at all these different officers' clubs, the Patuxent and the Cedar Point clubs. He would do all of that. Always showed up there dressed in a neatly pressed dark green Army uniform.
Yeah.
Very normal. Everybody recognized him. One of the spokesmen for the Patuxent naval whatever, said, quote, he marched in our parades. He marched in all the veterans' parades. Whenever he was asked about his career, he'd talk about Vietnam. I know people asked him about Vietnam, and he just always had all kinds of stories. Wow. So they'd all exchange.
He wanted to talk about it. Crazy.
Yeah, they'd all exchange war stories together.
Yeah.
At the St. Mary's Veterans Day Parade, he took the podium and gave a big speech about fallen soldiers and those who still serve and the men that he's commanded and, the whole, you talk about all this type of shit. So by late 1999, he's doing all this type of stuff, known as one neighbor describes him as a lovely, caring person. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Working as a mortician still, volunteering everywhere. He, by now, though, is a brigadier general in the U.S. Army Reserve.
Shit, damn.
So that is highfalutin right there. That's some
hell yeah,
some hot
That's
shit.
The guy.
Yep. He oversees funerals at the Arlington National Cemetery.
Fucking rad.
He's right. He's polishing up State of the Union addresses. He's really a mover and a shaker here.
Absolutely.
He's doing his thing,
contributing fucking grace and grief to fallen soldiers. He's a beautiful man.
Yeah, that's his a guy who knew him, who was actually a state representative at the time, said his claims of close relationships with the Clintons never struck me as particularly credible. He said he was close to the Clintons, knew them from Arkansas, wrote speeches for them. I know a lot of those speechwriters, and they know I represent St. Mary's, and they had never mentioned him to me. So you'd think they'd be like, "Oh, you're from where that guy's from."
Right.
We know him. Yeah, we know him. And he's like, so that was kind of a weird thing. Very, very strange, but didn't seem to be a big deal. That same friend said before he left for Christmas 1999, he said we exchanged Christmas gifts. They were discussing Y2K coming up.
Yeah.
If you're too young to know, in 2000, everybody freaked out that, at the stroke of midnight, planes would fall out of the sky and every computer system would shut down and there'd be no power and
there'd be no money.
It would be bedlam and everybody's money would be gone that was in a bank because it's all computerized. And so we were all very worried about that.
We were.
And this person, it turned out to be one computer had a problem.
Not a thing.
My thing, I remember at the time, I was thinking, okay, so let's say the computer doesn't know to go to 2000 and it goes back to 1900. Does the computer then, in its own brain, think, oh my God, it's 1900, I don't exist yet, and shut down? Because that didn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't get why it would shut down then after that. It would just be like, okay, now it's 1900 and start counting from there and you can adjust the date.
Right.
I never got
why wouldn't it say
I'm not a programmer,
yesterday was 1999 and you had this much money. Somehow today it's 1900 and now back in 1900 you didn't exist so you had no money. So why would it think that? The
computer would think, I don't exist, I'm a computer. Shit, you don't even exist yet. You weren't born until fucking 82. Forget about it.
Or will the computer just go, now it's 1900 and somehow you still exist and all this money exists still?
Yeah, but it's just a different day because I'm a computer and numbers don't mean anything to me in dates. I don't have any significant historical reference to the numbers because I'm a computer.
I don't give a fuck about Earth and Sun.
Yes. I don't know if that, but I don't know what that was. I found out, by the way, Y2K actually, some programmer came up with it as hey, what if this happened in 1986 and that's what
and it caught on.
It caught on, yeah.
Wow.
And it was just a theoretical, what if that happened? And then it became this.
Was he just a smoker? And he's just stoned going, bro, what if?
Check it out. Okay.
Hear
Listen
me
to
out.
this, bro. I'm saying, right? Suppose you're a computer, right? Bro, you think it's 1900. What are you going to do, man? You're not going to exist anymore. You're going to make planes just fall from the sky and shut down the grids, bro.
Cars are going to evaporate. Watch.
Seriously, bro, it's fucking crazy.
We're going to have to invent all this all over again.
Society's got to restart. It's not going to be good. So none of us, we won't even know how to make penicillin anymore. It'll just be a disaster. This person went on to say meaning Blankenship, told this person that President Clinton was very concerned over the Y2K situation.
Yeah.
So you should be concerned too. The president's concerned. So just, So January 23rd, 2000 comes around. Okay. And every day, every morning, he raises the flag in the morning. Every night at sundown, he lowers the flag. He brings it down. So he does the whole deal like he's really at a military base.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So January 23rd, 10 o'clock at night, winter night, flag's still up.
Oh.
So neighbors are like, well, that's weird. Where the fuck is this flag?
Really pissing on America, sir.
Yeah, this guy, I thought he was a patriot, for Christ's sake. So
he's going to raise it upside down tomorrow? What's happening?
For fuck's sake, Jesus, goddamn Christ. This bastard. So he would do that. Even if he was going to come home late, like if he had plans with the Rotary Club or something, he would have his neighbors take it down.
Is that right?
Yeah, you take that down for me. It's like it had to be right. Yeah. His next door neighbor, Flo Michalski, said, quote, I could never fold it as good as he could. So so the flag flies that night all through the next day, the 24th, never comes down.
Huh.
It's up. The sun's up, the sun's down, flag's out the whole time. So they're like, okay. Then January 25th is the worst snowstorm of the year.
Yeah.
You're not going to leave your flag up to be battered in the snow like that
like he's got
all night.
Old Glory just taking a beating.
Taking up clumps of ice hanging off of it.
Holy
Just
shit.
not good at all. Just a complete mess. So it's at that time that the next door neighbors said, we should probably make sure he's okay.
Yeah.
We should call the cops or something because he kept his flag up.
Hello, 911. Old Glory is really taking a pound.
It's snowing, though, 911. Yeah, but the flag's up. What didn't you understand about the flag's up and it's snowing? It was dark last night. The flag was still up.
Don't let it touch the ground.
Tell a cop to come out here ASAP because the flag has been flying. But in the terms of I would never want a neighbor to know my rhythms to the point of if something didn't happen for 2 days, they would call the cops to make sure it was okay. Like you're way too in tune with the movements and rhythms of your neighbor's actions at that point.
I keep my neighbors on their toes to where I'll leave my trash cans out a day late. And every time I do, my neighbor brings them up for me.
Oh, my God. No, Jimmie. Back to the house. But if my neighbor raised and lowered his flag every day, and I understand that's like for military people and stuff, it's a respectful thing.
Deal.
Not making fun of that. We're making fun of these neighbors being so nosy with the fucking thing, just so you know. But if my neighbor did that every day and then didn't, I wouldn't notice it for a while, probably. Number one.
I'd smell him before I noticed that shit.
Absolutely. And then it would take seeing it a couple times over the course of a couple weeks. That's not usually up at night.
Right.
And I'd be like, he doesn't take his flag down anymore. And then Sarah would go, really? And I go, yeah. And I'd shrug my shoulders and never think about it again because it's none of my fucking business what he does with his flag. I don't care.
He's not taking it down anymore. What do you want for dinner?
Yeah, okay. She'd look at me and be like, all right. And?
So he stopped. Good for him.
So anyway.
He probably saw that it was fucking exhausting.
Probably. Jesus Christ. He just got tired. That's all it is. So either way, they call the cops and the cops come out and, he didn't show up for work either. So I'm sorry, his neighbors didn't call the cops. They thought about calling the cops. His work calls the cops because he doesn't show up for work on Monday morning, and they haven't heard from him. And it's just he's not a guy who misses work ever. He's worked there for years. He's never not shown up for work.
He doesn't no call no show. That's
never happens. So the neighbors said, "quote I was shocked. It was still so bad out, snowing like crazy, and so I was shocked to see a policewoman standing at my door." And so they said he was so punctual, even in a blizzard, his boss expected him to show up and called the cops thinking maybe he careened off the road and is stuck in a fucking snowbank somewhere. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News & World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, Believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover.
Yeah.
Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing.
No.
They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Yeah.
You know, so cops start at his house to see if his car's there, and then they're going to go from there as they
start looking out for a guy with black feet. His feet are dying.
Yeah, and so the Sheriff's Lieutenant John Horn is his title here. Not John Horn, that's his name. His title is Sheriff's Lieutenant.
His name's Sheriff's Lieutenant, title John Horn.
Title John Horn. How you doing, Sheriff's Lieutenant? Oh, very nice to meet you, sir. No, it's John Horn. Either way, he says, quote, you walk in, the house is secure, because they go into the Blankenship home to check on him. They're doing a well check. The house is secure, locked, no sign of forced entry. Inside, the house is in disarray. Then he says, quote, you have the victim laying in the bathroom with the door closed with ligature marks on his neck.
Oh, shit.
So they find a dead Michael Blankenship here.
Oh, no.
The house is in disarray, but on him, the only thing that's out of place is ligature marks around his neck. His clothes are neat. He's not bruised. There's no defense wounds. There's no knuckle bloody. There's no bloody nose. His hair is not even that messed up. Like he looks like perfectly like he's about to go, out to dinner or something. But somebody strangled him very gently, and he was like, "Cool, please strangle me." Like it's a very weird. It's a very weird looking thing here. Not a scratch on him, which they said it's so weird. The cop said it looks like he almost accepted his fate and was just like, it's such a strange. They never saw like a strangulation that doesn't have swing your arms around, nick your hand on a thing. Well, there's nothing like that. It's like he was unconscious or something and was strangled. It's weird. That's what it looks like. They don't understand.
In the bathroom
with the door closed. Rest of the house in complete disarray.
Yeah.
So his neighbors were like, "Holy shit, what the fuck?" It's. They said usually his house is immaculate. By the way, I mean, everything in his place. It's
the guy that puts up and takes down the flag. He's got it in shape in there.
You go in, there's 30 beer cans on his coffee table.
But this is the guy that brings his flag up and down. That's weird.
No, that's not how it works. This guy's super well kept. So. Said everybody was so shocked too, and they're like, okay, no sign of forced entry. There's drawers in like all of his dressers and things like that have been opened, and a pair of his glasses were thrown on the table, and a tie is slung over the doorknob. Okay. And then they said there's a gun laying undisturbed right on top of his dresser.
Huh.
So, yeah, it's a little weird. His neighbor said, quote, we couldn't think of anybody who had it in for him. There wasn't a person around here who didn't like him. They're like, who the fuck did this? And later on, the police will say, there's a gun sitting on top of the dresser. If this is a robbery, it's the worst robbery in the history of the world. Nobody who robs houses doesn't take a gun that's sitting out in the open.
Right. What were you looking for that you just left a gun?
Especially because the drawers of the dresser were open on the dresser that was on.
So they were in front of the gun.
They were looking at the gun, so they definitely left it on purpose. That's a strange thing. So the neighbors are shocked. They're talking to the neighbors, trying to find out. The cops are trying to find out who could have done this. They tell him, oh, this is who this guy is. He's got this big military record. He's a brigadier general. This is kind of a big deal. This is going to be a big news story here. Somebody killed a brigadier general. All this type of shit. So they notify the White House to tell them, because everybody said they're close with like the White House and shit. Like you should, that's what everybody they talked to had the same thing. He's a brigadier general. He's like a Clinton speechwriter. He's close to the White House. You should talk to them and probably tell them first about it. So they called the White House, and nobody at the White House has ever heard of him. Nobody. Not the Clintons, not the staffers, not the speechwriters. No one's ever heard his name before.
Well, real sad he's dead. Don't know the guy.
Yeah, so they're like, well, all right, well, let's look into what the deal is. He's a brigadier general. Somebody must know him somewhere in the Army, so they call the Army, and they're like, he's not a brigadier general. What the fuck are you talking about? His Army records are, he did serve in the Army, but not in Vietnam, as he's claimed this whole time. He was not a brigadier general, not even in the Army Reserve anymore. He was not at all.
Why do that?
He was a soldier, served in the Army from 70 to 73, not in combat. You know what his job was? He was talking about fallen comrades that, he helped and, threw over his shoulder. He baked bread.
Hell yeah.
He was a baker, which is great. It's a great skill. I love it.
Love that one.
Everybody else in the Army, oh, this sucks, we're in war. And he's like, every day smells delicious. It just smells delicious every day. I just don't
make
mind.
Some pumpernickel today.
Yeah.
I don't even eat that shit.
So he baked bread. So he was a bread baker who wasn't a combat soldier at all. Right. Meanwhile, he's telling everybody he's this like decorated combat soldier, Vietnam veteran, brigadier general, and all this type of shit.
Why say that? Just go do it.
He did. That's a lot easier to say it than do it. To climb that ladder. I mean, who knows? Authorities were trying to figure out how he's a member of these officers clubs, and he would just renew his membership annually, so they wouldn't like check you out. But they don't know how he got his original membership. But they do find that among the things they found in his car was a device for creating fake IDs. He has like this printing thing, so he's just making up identifications for himself and licenses and things of various.
I guess it's technically not illegal. He's not doing it to like hurt people or anything, right? It's not illegal, is it?
I think you can't do that, right? I don't know.
I mean, morally, you look like a piece of shit. But
that's one thing to do it like at a dinner party, but when you actually get like an officers club membership and things like that, there has to be some sort of
it's certainly
federal
power.
crime. I would imagine. Yeah. Oh, gee, you think? Good God, you felt bad about getting a discount at Jack in the Box, and you didn't even technically say you were in the military.
True.
This is different. This guy shows up in uniforms with full medals and, talking about his fallen soldier friends that he had to throw over his shoulder while their guts dripped out of them and shit in Vietnam. So this is a mess. So the Army said it's very weird. An Army spokeswoman named Martha Rudd said, quote, it's not unusual to pretend you're generals. It's not unusual to... Sorry, very little sleep last night.
It's too easy. It goes right there.
It's too easy. She said it's not unusual for people to falsely claim they've been in the service and not unheard of for someone to exaggerate what service they had been. But, quote, we just don't get people running around claiming to be a general.
Yeah.
Outside of like, an 80s sitcom mental institution with somebody wearing like everyone else is in like their like pajamas and he's got like pajama pants and a pajama shirt but with like a military coat over it with medals and he's like, I'm the general. They're like, okay, general. Sit on down, buddy. A guy with a Napoleon hat on.
That's what Jonathan Winters did near the end. He was just running around his house in fucking weird military garb.
He was just having fun.
He was just having fun. He wasn't pretending like he wasn't trying to pass off a legitimate military career. No.
Okay,
well, he may have thought he was because he was a mess at the end. The poor guy.
Poor bastard. Yeah, he had some dementia there.
Yeah.
So his friend that went to the officers club with him all the time, he said that despite the deceit, he's still a good neighbor. He said he was an important part of the community who visited the sick and cared for the poor. He did lots of good things for people. He said, maybe this just made him feel good. I don't know. I feel
you'd have to feel bad for a guy like that.
And that's what some of his good friends were like. I feel terrible for him that, he felt like he needed to be that for us to like him, Well, there's more to this, by the way.
Army and sourdough. I still respect you, Jesus.
Yeah. And I would have said, shit, you still know how to make bread? I would be much more interested in getting your bread.
Yeah. Come over. I'm making spaghetti. I need that bread.
I don't want to hear war stories. That sounds gross. I want bread. Like, thank you for your service, but what's up with that bread, bro?
So useful to me.
Yeah, I love bread. So his friend also said, we're still in a state of shock. I don't understand it. His other friend said, we're completely dumbfounded. Of course, in retrospect, it doesn't make sense that more questions weren't asked. It's just, maybe he was the fellow we all met. But you look back, and he was supposed to be in the reserves, but he never seemed to go away for reserve duty. We didn't know what his unit supposedly was. We really didn't know much about him, it turns out, at all.
True.
He just, he did like a Catch Me If You Can. It's just a real...
Fascinating.
Yep. They became... So at this point, they're like, well, we don't really give a shit about any of that unless it leads us to who the fuck killed him.
Right.
He's got this fake life. Does he have a second life that he's leading then? If he's got a fake life?
Somebody find out about how fake it is and get upset?
That's what I mean. So they didn't know what to do. So they were able to reconstruct his computer usage because it's 2000. So he's on the internet and they're able to reconstruct chat room things that he does and try to figure out who he knows and whatever. It's more than they did in the Heyman Lee case. I'll say that.
Truth.
So they end up finding some, just as regular web surfing and some email correspondence that they find particularly interesting between him and a young soldier at Fort Lewis, Washington named Jairo Torres. Now, their correspondence, they called it a roadmap to the relationship. Basically, that Blankenship attempted to mentor him as a young soldier, telling him the whole Brigadier General story and lying to him, telling the young soldier this whole lie and, telling him how he can help him navigate through the Army and everything like that. But this quickly turned into a romance between the two.
Oh, shit.
That's the other thing that he's not telling anybody. That's what makes it sad, too, is he felt like he couldn't tell anybody. He just created a whole other, thing and just created a wife that died of cancer, so he's not interested in dating. He would tell his friends because I love my wife and I don't want anybody else, and that's what he would do. So, which makes it even sadder. So, but the problem is the prosecutor later will say Blankenship is telling this kid, look, you're 19 now. I want to get you into ROTC and into college. I want to introduce you to all my admiral and general friends who he doesn't have.
How are you going to make good on that promise?
He lied to this kid a lot. He's basically leading the boy to believe he was going to be made into something very special, an officer and a gentleman, shall we say. That's what they said later on. So it's Jairo Fortunato Torres is his name. He came to the U.S. from Mexico when he was 11 and went to North Carolina. His dad left the family when he was 5, and his mother had 5 kids, and they were homeless for a while before they came to the United States and all this type of shit. In North Carolina, they opened up a small Mexican grocery store, and the whole family helped out and all that sort of thing. So they said Torres wrote his college application essay, which Blankenship helped him write. So his brother said it was difficult for him because we did not speak any English, so we had to learn the language as we learned our lessons. So they were they just were put in the pool and swim, learn English. So, but things were going well for him. He went from that to being in the Army. He was proud of that. He was trying to, move up there. He graduated with honors, did Torres, in 1998 from Ashboro High School, and then he joined the Army, trying to get money for college. And that's how it goes. He wrote later on, Torres said, when I graduated from the United States Army Basic Infantry Training School, I felt like an American. Although I still carried a green card in my wallet, I also carried a United States identification card, just like every other GI. I was serving this country. I was a part of this country. I was on my way to being a success. The sun was shining.
That's beautiful.
It is. But he's also didn't tell anybody that he was gay in the Army. He did tell his family, though. He came out to his family, but not in the Army. This is the don't ask, don't tell era where, you just kind of it just kept it under the radar. So he's doing his thing in the Army. He's never gets in trouble in the Army or anything like that. Torres in his college essay here, said by pure luck he ran into Michael Blankenship, this brigadier general who's going to help him. He wrote, quote, "On a very sunny day in July 1999, I stepped off an airplane at Ronald Reagan National Airport in Washington. At the end of the ramp, I met for the first time Brigadier General Michael K. Blankenship. The sun was glistening on the insignia of his rank and reflecting in my eyes, reflections I would appreciate for the remainder of my life."
That's a Mexican national that wrote
Yeah.
that. That's gorgeous.
With Blankenship's help.
Okay.
Yeah, he helped him up with the language a little bit, but still, he helped him with his thoughts. I don't know how much help he put into it. I mean, he
pretty
did.
great.
That sounds pretty great. Yeah,
Glistening.
It's glistening. So they visited each other. They went back and forth, a few times. He's in Washington State, this other kid, so they're going back and forth across the country. Torres and Michael. They visited each other. They wrote letters to each other, emailed each other. They were on the phone all the time. At least once. Torres came to West Virginia to visit Blankenship's mother and brother. I mean, and Blankenship flew out there to see him. That's a relationship.
Sure is.
You're introducing them to the family. You're going across the country talking every day. That's the definition of a relationship. And the police said it appears it was a relationship that moved very quickly. And so Blankenship wrote to Torres and assured him that the relationship would never end. And so at that point, that's when Torres told his family about Blankenship. Blankenship, the family was like, you're not going to go with this old guy. This is, he's 30 years older than you. This is disgusting. He's an old predator.
Yeah,
he's an old predator, basically. It's fine if you're gay, but not this guy. So and then Torres tells his family it's not like that. He's not using me, as a matter of fact. This relationship is real. As a matter of fact, I'll show you a copy of Blankenship's will that he's just changed to put me in.
Okay.
So he put him in the will. Blankenship tells him, giving Torres his house, a $250,000 life insurance policy, and everything that he has, because he doesn't have kids or anything like that. So also Blankenship wrote to Torres and told him about all this stuff. I mean, so he said, "Look, I have security. This guy likes me, and he put me in the will because he loves me, and we're going to be together." Right. So that's how that went. Problem is, though, that wasn't true at all. He forged a will. He produced a fake document to give to this kid. So he thought.
Mike.
So this guy thought that he was getting that. So that's kind of crappy. So they said, though, no one ever suspected any of this. So this blows everybody away. So all of his friends. It's hard in a murder investigation when nobody who knows the person knows anything about them in reality.
Right.
Normally, the things that they do. Other than he works here and hangs out here, they don't know shit about him. So all they have to go on is, we've tracked it to this guy. This is the only other person who kind of sees behind the curtain is this Torres guy. So they're like, could he have done this? That's all they could think of. Motive being for money of a will or anything like that. Who knows? We don't know. Either way, they go to this. They're in here. When he was in the Army, by the way, when Blankenship was in the Army, he was he did well, actually. Yeah. We have there is a major general who's a real major general, Pikelik. It's a weird name. Pikelik. He commanded the U.S. Army Material Command Europe, and he's a retired guy now, but the Blankenship used to work for him. And this general said that he called him a very good aide. He said that Blankenship always kept his brass buttons sparkling and all of that kind of shit. He said he was an excellent cook who made pastries and, quote, flamboyant hors d'oeuvres.
Sir.
This is before
that's
anything
amazing.
came out. That's what I mean. If someone makes flamboyant hors d'oeuvres in the 70s, that's a sign, everybody.
Giveaway.
So, this is pre-cooking shows, So this guy ended up got his second star as a general, Pikelik, and he threw a promotion party at the officers' club, and he said Blankenship stood at the door greeting guests in a uniform that Blankenship himself designed.
What?
He made his own uniform like Custer or fucking MacArthur. Those are the people who made their own uniforms.
This guy still isn't catching on.
Nope.
He's a clothing designer that makes flamboyant fucking pastry.
Makes flamboyant hors d'oeuvres and pastries. You should see the puffs he makes for hors d'oeuvres. They're amazing. these amazing puffs, and he's
and
a
the ruffles
clothing
on
designer.
this guy's shirt.
I mean, fuck. The general called it, quote, a very fanciful costume. What are we talking about? He said that Blankenship added... I can't even get it out. Blankenship added blue epaulets and other fancy trimmings to a coat in a way that was fetching, but definitely not regulation.
He's screaming to you, dude. He's trying to tell you something.
Pikelick said, I was shocked when I saw it. He was standing at the door greeting everybody, saluting everybody with a happy manner. He was designing his own uniform like Ike or MacArthur. It was a really nice outfit, though.
I'm sure it looked great.
He was impressed by it. He was impressed by it. So, I don't know. He did go to mortuary school at the Cincinnati College of Mortuary Science in Ohio and graduated there in 1979. So that's actually
doing
true.
Makeup. Yeah.
Yeah, doing the mortuary stuff. So that's actually true. And then he ended up getting into all of these clubs by going with his father to the Kiwanis Club, and because they were looking for younger people. Yeah. And then once he kind of just grandfathered himself in other clubs from there. It's how
Brilliant.
It went. And he just started adding accolades to himself there. So that's what he was doing. His friend called him a perfectionist, and he said everything he did, he tried to do the right way. And his one friend, Charles Carl, which in Spanish is Carl, he said that he described himself as the Carl guy got multiple sclerosis, and he said Blankenship gave him a loan to help his family scrape by until he could get disability. So
incredible.
He's saying what a nice guy this fucking guy is. He's really great. But then in 86, Blankenship, in October of 86, he's indicted on 3 felony counts of embezzlement by a grand jury for stealing more than $4,000 from elderly West Virginians who prepaid for their funerals with him.
What?
Oh, that's not cool. Yeah, that's not good at all.
$4,000? Jesus.
That's not a lot. He pled guilty to a lesser charge and was sentenced to 6 months work release. So, yeah, his boss there said, he done me so dirty that I don't have much love for him. He done me so dirty that I don't have much love for him. He paused and then said, quote, he really throwed it to me. That, my friends, is a West Virginia funeral plot seller.
Who didn't see robbery coming. Fascinating.
Nope. Not at all. Now, there are a lot of friends of his that suspected that he was gay. Not the officer club people, but other people. They said he did, like when he worked at the one place in Waldorf, he said that they said he made a rudimentary effort to hide it. He spoke of his ill sister who'd be in a convalescent home who didn't exist. And he introduced, one point here, a clean-cut, bespectacled man in his 20s who would frequently come and stay with Blankenship and accompany him on trips to the beach. And he would say that that's his sister's grown son. That's his nephew who's just staying with him. Yeah. So they said he likes young Hispanic guys. Yeah. Is what he likes. It's what he's into. So Yario here, Blankenship emailed him July 10th, 99 about, I added 2 new ribbons to my rack on Thursday. That must mean medals. On July 7th, I received the Presidential Service Identification Badge. It's one of the most sought-after badges for those of us who serve in Washington. Wow, that's
what Blankenship told Torres.
That's what Blankenship was telling him. So yeah, he was telling him all of this, like I'm moving up in the world, and he was trying to mentor him in life too. Blankenship, though, he was saying like, hey, be careful with this, be careful with that, like things from experience, not military things, life stuff, and especially being a young gay man stuff. Like he would tell him, hey, be careful of this, look out for that, So that's it. So. They're still looking for Blankenship's car, by the way, also. They couldn't find that at all. One of his cars was missing. They end up figuring it all out that this kid Yario thought that he was the beneficiary of this house and this big life insurance policy. So he came in, Torres booked a round-trip ticket flying under, he actually had identification as an alias.
Oh, no.
He flew under an alias. Marco was the last name instead of his regular last name. Okay. So he flew under this alias, flew in, and came in. They said that it looked like shortly after he got there, by the way everything was, that he probably strangled him when he wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
He was, Blankenship was standing there, and Torres came up behind him, strangled him. Then he got into his car, got into Blankenship's car, drove away because Blankenship had picked him up from the airport. He doesn't have a car there. He flew in. Then he said, oh, shit, I should make it look like a robbery, and turned around and went back and disheveled the house.
Wow.
But didn't really take anything. He just disheveled the house to make it look like a robbery.
Some shit. Yeah.
Yeah, wrinkled some shit and left valuables out in the open. So he then stole the Blankenship's.
You can't take a gun on a plane. That's why he didn't take that shit.
That's why he didn't take it, because he drove right from the house right to Reagan National Airport, abandoned the car with the engine running in the front of the airport terminal. That doesn't draw attention to it or anything.
Weird. Yeah.
He did like an 80s movie. He tossed the keys to a guy and said, keep it. You can't park there. Keep it. So,
the disregard in the 80s for cars.
Just, I don't care. When they finally talk to Torres, he cracks and he gives up what he did. And within 15 minutes of getting there, he strangled him. He grabbed a piece of rope. He wrapped the rope around each hand, made like one of those, so he got a grip.
Like a little garrote.
And he just strangled him to death. He said he didn't fight back or anything. He didn't, just took it, basically. He didn't understand. Maybe Blankenship thought he would stop if he didn't struggle. Maybe he thought like, hey, I've been so nice to this guy. Maybe he won't strangle me.
Right. Passed out before he stopped.
And then he might have passed out. Yeah, we have no idea. So he said, he ransacked the house. He also wrote a note to make it look like somebody had discovered who he was. He wrote a note in big giant letters. A piece of paper taped to his computer monitor in big block letters. He wrote FAG on it.
No.
Yeah. So people would think that maybe that's what it was.
Got it.
But he just did that to throw the police off the scent. The prosecutor said, let's put it this way. There was a brand new handgun that belonged to Blankenship sitting in the open on a dresser. No self-respecting robber I've ever heard of would leave a gun like that behind.
Seen lots of crimes and no good ones leave the fucking gun.
Come on. Now, Torres flew back to Seattle and got into his barracks in time for Monday morning, but 2 days later, the Army investigator started asking him about his relationship with Blankenship. So he acknowledged that, yes, he did have a gay relationship with him, but he didn't kill him. Because the cops asked the military to talk to him, so military police took him aside, and that's what he said. He goes, no, I did have a gay relationship, but I didn't kill him. So that sets in motion a Chapter 15 administrative proceeding, which they're going to dismiss him from the service. So he said that when they first talked to Torres, the police talked to him too, he just kept saying, I have no reason to lie. I didn't do anything. I have no reason to lie to you guys. I don't know what you're talking about. But the detectives worked, quote, hundreds of man hours unraveling everything because it's all over the computer, so you can see how it went. The one investigator said the whole thing was complicated. It was a difficult investigation for us. We had to work by telephone, fax, and email with Army criminal investigators, local authorities, the airlines, as well as other organizations. So there was weeks go by before they can lock it all down.
Right.
March 28th, 2000, they finally arrest Torres. That's that.
Got it.
They go to court, and the prosecutor said this is one of the most troubling prosecutions he's ever even heard of, because he said that basically the victim in this case lied to this guy, led him on, and is also 30 years older than him, and they have a lot of evidence that he was also engaging in consensual relationships with local juveniles.
Oh, no.
16-year-old kids that he was counseling and leading. So they're like, when they bring out that he's a pedophile, that's not going to look
grooming.
good.
Right, that looks bad.
This is a 19-year-old kid, and it's he is an adult technically, but that still looks bad, and it's going to. And you don't know the jury. The jury, you might have prejudices in the jury that can. Who knows how it's going to go?
At the end of the day, you still can't murder, but if it's not self-defense, but it still looks terrible.
The prosecutor said that the defense could very easily make Blankenship look like a, quote, fraud, pedophile, and seducer of young men.
God damn it.
That's what the defense could do. And he said at that point, it's going to be difficult, and it's hard for the Blankenship family and everything else. They're going to drag this guy through the dirt. So, in addition, they also found this is one of the pieces of evidence they found in Blankenship's house, a letter to the St. Mary's College president offering himself, Blankenship, as a military mentor to the youth of the college.
Oh, no.
He also participated in discussions about the St. Mary's County Public Schools plan to institute a junior ROTC program in the county, and took it upon himself to lobby the Maryland congressional delegation about it.
Mikey, no.
Yeah, he said, this is the prosecutor, General Blankenship, general in quotes, was parading around as a general in order to get closer to young men of military persuasion.
Fuck.
So, I mean, if they're legal age, knock yourself out. There's plenty of guys that go do tons of shit to get near 20-year-old girls. I mean, that's just the way it works. But you can't do it. Junior ROTC, no. You know, that's not going to work, Chief. So, the prosecutor also said there's no evidence that Torres was setting him up from the beginning. We just don't know. We do know he thought Blankenship was really a general and that he had really named him in his will. A house and $250,000, that's motive enough for a lot of people to kill.
Probably, yeah.
Absolutely. So the way this goes on, the prosecutor says all of that, they offer him a plea deal because they said this would be a terrible trial to do. They offer him a second-degree murder deal. And for Torres, it's a good deal because he's looking at it as they could really make me look like a cold-blooded son of a bitch that was setting up this older guy who was actually trying to help him, and all this type of shit. And he's so greedy. And
the only difference between that and the other one is in first degree is premeditation, right?
That's
so at least they're pulling that off the table, which is obviously what he did. He booked a fucking plane ticket.
Booked a flight under a false name when all the other flights he booked under his own name fine.
Why would you book it in a false name unless you're going somewhere to do some bad shit?
That's right. Yario, before he's sentenced, he says, quote, despite his lies, meaning the prosecutor's lies, I would do anything to bring Michael back. I want to tell you that I'm truly sorry for what happened. I was only 18 when I met him, and now I wish I never had. It's kind of a weird thing to say. Prosecutor asked that he be sentenced in the mid-range of the guidelines, which would be 13 to 17 years, and he also faces deportation. The judge says, you, sir, may fuck off, sentenced to 30 years in prison, suspends half of that, so 15 years in prison.
Whoa.
Yeah, 15 in prison, and then as soon as he's done, he'll be deported to Mexico.
That's one of the lightest sentences I've ever heard of.
Yeah, 15 years, and then you go to Mexico. So that's that for him. And they try to – all the Blankenship family afterwards are like – they're so sad, the friends and family of the Blankenships, they're all like they're so sad because he's dead and they liked him. But on top of that, they're all sad because they feel like they've been lied to and this wasn't even the person they knew. They're sad that he felt like he couldn't tell them who he really was, and they're also sad that their friend lied to them, so they don't know how to feel about it. The whole thing is it feels gross.
And then what if he lied to us because what he really is the most shameful thing on earth?
Yeah, that's what I mean. And all of his friends were like, I don't care if he's gay, I don't care if he's in the military, he's a nice guy. But they think, now was he hiding it because of the darker thing that was underneath it? So they said, why? One of his friends here said the former town commissioner said, it would be hard for me to believe anything bad about Michael, and there are 1,000 people in this county that would say the same thing. I saw grown men at his memorial service, grown men with tears in their eyes. Yeah. That's what a good friend he was to everyone here. His other friend said he obviously felt a tremendous need to have stature, so he created stature for himself. Yeah, the county commissioner said it seems to many of us in the county time to put the whole thing to rest. I think most people in the county prefer to remember the positive things that he did bring to the community. And his other friend said, I wish Michael had known that he didn't have to exaggerate or hide to be popular or accepted. That's all I wish. Yeah. So there you go. So I believe Yario, even if he served the full term, would be out by now. He's somewhere in Mexico by now. And Yeah, Blankenship's dead, and that's how crazy of a story is that?
Now's as good a time as ever to point out that it is National Mental Health Month for men. So if you're a dude and you got some problems, get some goddamn help.
Get some help. And today, actually, that this will come out a week, the week early if you're listening, it's Veterans Day that this comes out on. So there you go. It's our Veterans Day special. So terrible. But, attention, I don't know, on the whatever. So
on soldiers and mental health, it's
there you go.
If you're struggling, get help. But Jesus, don't be attracted to kids.
Don't fuck any kids, no matter what you're feeling like. That's never the answer. It's never the answer. Ever. Ever, ever, never. We'll say that right now.
It's a terrific point.
Well, that's what I mean. Not to state the obvious, but let's state the obvious, because you never know. Someone out there could be going,
never the answer.
Hey, there you go. If you like that story and all the stories, tell the world about it. Get on whatever app you're listening on. Give us 5 stars. It really does help the show out. Say something nice. It helps drive us up the charts, which represent. Watch Small Town Murder rise and go, I helped do that. It's helpful. It really is helpful. Tell us anything you want. Tell us your least favorite condiment on a sandwich. That's what you can put that in the review. It's fine.
Give the most obvious advice.
Yeah, most obvious advice. One of the two. So you can do that. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. November 28th. Tickets are on sale for the whole tour of 2023. All the dates are at the beginning of the show, and they're all going to be on the website, I'm sure, pretty soon here. Head over to social media so you can keep up on that. We'll be releasing like a code so you can pre-sales if you want to get better seats, and some of the venues will sell out pretty quick too. So you want to definitely get in there. Follow us on social media at Small Town Murder on Instagram, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, at Murder Small on Twitter. So do that. Patreon.com/crime and sports gives you the whole, anybody, $5 or above. It's a cup of coffee. Coffee. You're going to get way more than a cup of coffee's worth. Yeah. You're going to get like 150 back episodes of bonus stuff to binge on. Every other week, you're going to get 2 new episodes to binge. And you are going to get 1 crime and sports, 1 small town murder. Very quickly this week, crime and sports, it's wild. It is just, the bonus episode is just weird old medical ads from newspapers from like 1900. Has nothing to do with sports. And then for small town murder, it's love after lockup time.
Somebody tase me.
Oh, somebody tase me. I'm going to fuck this chimney. So that's how that works. Get in there, patreon.com/crime and sports, and get your shout out at the end of the regular show. Once again, you want to follow us on social media, head over to Shut Up and Give Me Murder, which you should be going there anyway to get tickets, and you can get links and follow everything on social media. Do it all at once. Keep doing it. Until next week, everybody. It's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.